This episode is part of a series that's been made possible with financial assistance from the West Virginia Humanities Council, a state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities.
We're at my house right now, but we're on our way to the supermarket.
I'm on the west side of Charleston, West Virginia. I'm walking to the grocery store with Deanna McKinney. She's doing some last-minute shopping for her family's Sunday dinner.
Wait, let me get a card.
She says she needs to buy some cornbread mix and 12 heads of cabbage.
Do you like cornbread or you like dinner rolls? Which one do you like?
I prefer cornbread, but...
You prefer cornbread? Because I love cornbread too. All right, that's what's up. We're going to have some cornbread.
Sunday dinner is a big deal in Deanna's family. Deanna's a de facto mother to her 3 sisters and 2 brothers. When she moved to West Virginia from New York City, they came too. These Sunday dinners are to remind her siblings that someone's always got their back. These gatherings have also anchored her family through some dark times. We're still at the grocery store, and the shopping cart is a little noisy.
So, how long did you and your son live here?
Well, it's going on, 2001 is 15 years.
And your son was shot and killed, was he not?
Yes, he was shot and killed on the porch. He was at home with his friends, like 2 of his friends, eating pizza on the porch. He stayed on the porch.
Deanna's told the story of her son's murder so many times that she can recount it to me, a relative stranger with a microphone, while she picks out cornbread mix at the grocery store. His name was Tymel, and his senseless death is an experience that has defined her life and informed who she is.
So this is the porch?
Yeah, this is the porch. He was right here.
We're back at Deanna's house. She shows me where Tymel was killed. 3 years earlier, a car of young men who were part of a Detroit gang called the 7 Mile Bloods parked outside of Deanna's house and walked up to this porch. With them was a local team, DJ Carter. Carter pulled out a .40 caliber Glock 23 pistol with an extended magazine clip and fired 17 shots. 4 of those shots hit Tymel in the chest, in the arm, and in the face. The attack was part of Carter's initiation into the gang. Tymel wasn't in the gang. He was just caught in the middle.
But sometimes people die to make change. Sometimes people die for a purpose. And I believe the shed of my son's blood on this porch that day, that night, was for the purpose that I'm doing now.
What's that purpose again?
Fighting for my community and all these other kids. Because we don't take the time to pay attention to these kids.
From West Virginia Public Broadcasting and PRX, this is Us and Them. It's the podcast where we tell stories from America's cultural divide. I'm Trey Kay. This episode is part of a 4-part series that focuses on the west side of my hometown of Charleston, West Virginia. It's a part of town that has struggled economically over the past few decades. It's got 2 statistics that often go together: high poverty and high crime. Just after Thanksgiving last year, I was in Charleston after a tragic shooting occurred. A 15-year-old African-American boy from the west side was shot by a 62-year-old white man. The facts of this shooting were similar to others that have received media attention across the country in recent years. It seemed like a Trayvon Martin redux.
We have now learned the name of that 15-year-old boy who was tragically shot and killed right here on Washington Street last night. His name is
James Means had an exchange with 62-year-old
William Pulliam is in jail tonight and is being charged with first-degree murder.
Pulliam admits to shooting Means twice in the stomach, calling it self-defense.
In 2016, around 15,000 people were killed by gun violence in the U.S. Around 3,000 teenagers were either injured or killed. In Charleston, West Virginia, there were 11 murders in 2016. 8 of them occurred on the west side of town. I wanted to speak with the family of James Means, the slain teenager. But they were grieving and overwhelmed by media requests. So I reached out to the minister of a local church. And he told me that if I wanted to understand more about the pain and grief that comes along with losing a young black man, and how these deaths impact a community, I should speak with Deanna McKinney. Her son was killed 3 years ago, and she'd been through a similar media swarm. Reporters had shown up at her door, camera crews covered the trial of the killers, and then the media attention disappeared. So I called Deanna McKinney on a Friday evening, and I told her I was a reporter, and I asked her if she was willing to speak to me about the death of her son, Tymel. Because it seemed to me that when it comes to the loss of a child, there is no us and them. There's only grief. Deanna lives in a 2-story brick house with a little yard. It's on the corner of a quiet block. And as I walk up to the door, I noticed a dime-sized hole in one of the window frames on her front porch. It's a bullet hole from the night when her son was murdered. Deanna took me up to her son Tymel's room.
This is Tymel's room?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. What's it make you think of?
Me screaming at him all the time to clean up. Or him laying down, sleeping. He's a hard sleeper. So when I walk in here, I think about those moments. Waking him up for school or to do something, take out the garbage or something, you know. But he stayed in his room and he stayed on that porch. Those are his 2 favorite spots.
Tymel was a football player in a club league in Charleston. I spoke with his coach, and he told me that Tymel wasn't just good, he was a phenomenal athlete. He helped the team recapture the league championship.
Yep, that's his jersey. That's what he won that game in. His number was 24.
There are pictures of Tymel all over the house. In one, he's around 10, and he has cornrows and a goofy smile, and he's posing with his mom.
You know, he got his pictures right here.
In a more recent photo, he's in a bright turquoise and gray plaid shirt, sporting a flat-billed baseball cap. It's a sunny day, and he stares into the camera. It's one of those teenage looks, where he narrows his eyes and bites his lip a little bit, trying to look serious. Maybe a shade of that look that Robert De Niro gives in Taxi Driver when he says, "You talking to me?"
Well, yeah, that's his ashes right there.
Where's that?
Right here.
Tell me about that.
Oh, just every day, a reminder. That's why I got it there. So every day, no matter what's going on. Like lately, it's just been really, really stressful on my family. So, you know, I don't know if anybody ever felt like, you know, sometimes you're happy somebody's not here. And, you know, it's getting to that point to where, like, I'm happy my son is not here for a lot of stuff that's going on.
What, like what?
Just family stuff, you know, just, my family, we a good family, you know, but we have so much pain from when we was younger, you know, my mother having all of us, you know, all of us got different fathers, there's 6 of us on my mother's side. So, you know, we grew up together, but we grew up really, really bad, like hungry, homeless, you know, in the streets, being beat.
Deanna's originally from New York. She grew up in Harlem. She and her sisters were passed from one relative to the next.
Sleeping on newspaper, on the floor, in the projects of my aunt's house, because my mother would leave us there for weeks or months at a time.
They were physically and sexually abused by relatives, abandoned, and then reclaimed by their mother. Deanna's childhood was full of heartache and violence. At 18, she got pregnant, and she moved in with the father of the baby. He was a drug dealer. He sold crack cocaine and was in and out of jail. Once Deanna had Tymel, she was looking around at where she was living, and she didn't want to be there anymore.
When I realized that I was dealing with a drug dealer, that's not what I wanted, but that's how I ate. That's how I had somewhere to stay. So I didn't knock it, but I knew that that's not a life that I wanted, especially for my kid. You know what I'm saying? So I left.
She was getting tired of living cramped in the city and scared of what might happen with her drug-dealing boyfriend. But it was really after the terrorist attacks on September 11th, Deanna says, that the city felt inhospitable and cold. Her stepmom had moved to Charleston, West Virginia, and she said that the city felt calm and family-oriented and the rent was cheap. So Deanna came down to Charleston, scoped the place out, and determined that it was a good place to raise her son, and so she made the move. She didn't want Tymel's childhood to be anything like her own. When they arrived in Charleston, they lived in a housing project, but eventually rented a small house. Tymel showed talent for drawing and and he wrote hip-hop lyrics.
He was the only child, so he didn't have no problem playing by himself, being to himself. So that's why I think got into the writing and the drawing and stuff like that, because it was just him. I wasn't the type of parent to let him spend a night out at people's houses and stuff like that. So, I always kept him close to me because of the things I went through as a little kid, and I didn't want him to go through anything, and I wasn't there to protect him or, to know what was happening with him.
Tymel was a good athlete, but he struggled to get to school on time and pass his classes. He was a junior in high school when his daughter Amarie was born. Now that he was a father, a counselor from school recommended that Tymel get his GED. So he transferred to a nearby career center to work on it and to get a job. It wasn't what Deanna wanted for her son. He was only 18, but she let him make that decision for himself. I asked Deanna to tell me about the day in April 2014 when Tymel was shot.
Yeah, we was just out here having a good day that day. My house always been that house where everybody come to. So we all out here having fun, playing. And Tymel always used to, because he's a man, he's strong. He used to always be like, oh, mommy, I could take you, I could take you, I could take you. So we out here and he thinking he could take me. So I had to show him, yeah, you think you could take me, but I'm your mother and God's going to give me the strength to lay you out. And he didn't believe me. And sure enough, we out here tussling and everything, and I got him down. So that was just like the highlight of our day because I actually showed him what it was. Now it's getting dark. He's been out there all day, just sitting on the porch. So he comes in. He had asked me if I wanted pizza. I guess he had ordered some pizza or whatever. So I'm like, no, boy, I want no pizza or whatever. So he go back outside. So then he comes in and he asks for a cigarette. He gets a cigarette, go back outside. Next thing you know, I'm sitting here, and then you just hear pop, 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 pop. But it comes through the window. I hit the floor. I'm on the floor, so I'm waiting for it to stop. Once it stopped, I opened up the door, but it was so much smoke, I couldn't see nothing at first. It was just real smoky. And then, I'm blinking, because I'm trying to see through the smoke. I don't know, maybe after the third or fourth blink, I'm looking, and I see him on the ground. Like I said, I'm still in shock, so I'm looking around, whatever, and I just grab my car keys, and I jump in my car, and I'm rushing, to the hospital. And then I go to CMC hospital, whatever. And then I was just there, and I just kept asking him, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't telling me nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking, is he okay? And they like, he's okay, he's okay. But once she came and said the doctor wanted to see me, I knew it wasn't okay. So that's when they told me that he didn't make it. So that was that night. Only thing I knew was it was a new world. I knew that everything looked different. Everybody looked different. The smell is different. Everything is different. Nothing was the same when I left the hospital. I know that. I came here looking for something better, so to come here and to experience something like that, I should have lost my damn mind.
Tymel bled to death. One bullet punctured a main artery. The guy who fired the 17 shots, DJ Carter, he was from the West Side, just like Tymel. They'd even played on the same championship football team together. I've got at least one thing in common with Deanna. I've only got one son. He's nearly the same age as Deanna's son, Tymel. I was devastated when he fell and banged his head on steps and had a serious concussion. I can't imagine what it would have been like to see him shot and bleeding on my front porch. I don't know what I'd do in that moment or how I would function in the days, weeks, and months and years that followed. I would want someone to hurt in the way that I was hurting. I would want an outlet for my pain. But in the courtroom when Tymel's killer was sentenced, Deanna asked the judge to have mercy on him. In her statement, she focused on the community and said, "It's our fault. because we're supposed to teach them and guide them. In the wake of her son's death, Deanna has taken this on as a mission, and we'll come back to that after the break. I'm Trey Kay, and this is Us and Them, which is supported in part by the West Virginia Humanities Council, the CRC Foundation, and the Daywood Foundation.
Music lifts us up and brings us together, even when we can't get together in person. Mountain Stage brings you live performances on the air, online, and in our podcast. They remind you how it feels to be in a live audience listening to live music. This is Larry Gross, host of Mountain Stage. Find a link to our stations and our podcast online at mountainstage.org.
Tymel's murder has become a catalyst for Deanna to get even more involved in her neighborhood. She fashioned herself into an activist and wants to eradicate violence in her community. She focuses on the root causes, poverty, and lack of things for kids to do. She's partnered with local churches to mentor kids in the neighborhood. She's organized a Get Out the Vote campaign and marches against gun violence. And every year, on the anniversary of Tymel's death, Deanna throws a block party.
How are you? You made it.
It's misting rain, but a respectable crowd has turned out. There are bouncy houses and old-school carnival games and tents serving homemade food, mac and cheese, barbecue, and some incredible jerk chicken.
Did you get that jerk chicken?
I got all over it.
Well, I think it got all over you.
People are walking about with white T-shirts with screen-printed pictures of Tymel. There are posters of black teens who've been shot and killed over the last year. This barbecue has become an annual event on the West Side. It draws a pretty big crowd, and it's got some backing from local churches, the business community, and the city government.
Oh, sorry.
Steve Cooper is there. He was the chief crime investigator for the Charleston Police Department, and he's just recently been promoted to the chief of police. But he's not in uniform. He's helping set up tables and tents and put out food. Cooper investigated Tymel's murder, and he's close with Deanna and her family. Deanna calls him Uncle Coop. Cooper says Deanna's a real inspiration to him.
She's very well known in Charleston. She's led marches in Charleston, more than one. She has spoken at large gatherings of hundreds of people. She's almost like a neighborhood mother, in that so many of these kids respect her, they listen to her, they look up to her, they congregate and socialize at her home in a safe environment, safe, drug-free, violence-free environment.
As the block party winds down, a mother who lost her son earlier in the year shows up. Nafia Adkins, the mother of James Means, the kid whose murder inspired my interest in this whole story, gets word that Deanna has thrown this block party in honor of several of the young people from the West Side who've been killed over the last year or so. Word got back to Nafia that there were posters and balloons memorializing her son James. Deanna says that Nafia walked up to her and threw her arms around her and broke down into tears. Nafia says that after her son's funeral, the newspapers lost interest and no one cared about her grief and her loss. She said it seemed that only folks like Deanna were trying to keep the memory of these slain young people alive. Up until now, Deanna's spirits have seemed a little dim because of the misting rain.
And look, it stopped raining, look.
Yeah. I mean, it was raining a little bit, but...
Yeah, but I don't feel it. So to me, it stopped.
You're not going to melt, are you?
Nah, I'm too sweet to melt. I'm that sugar that, it gets wet and it just stay together. I ain't going nowhere.
By the end of the barbecue, Deanna looks exhausted. It's still raining. Fewer people have shown up than she had hoped. But her whole extended family is there. Deanna's younger sister, Aisha, had brought their mother all the way down from Harlem.
Oh, Oh, yeah, she actually was over there. But she's here. She came down. My cousins came down. Fams came down from New York and stuff for this.
I'm about to leave the party, but Deanna's older sister, Shaniqua, tells me that I can't leave before the big dance routine. A group of about a dozen young girls, wearing T-shirts with Tymel's face on the front, start a choreographed step dance. Proud parents cheer as their kids bust a move. Eventually, Deanna and her sisters join into the routine. Now, Deanna's been too busy organizing the party to learn all the steps, but she holds her own. After I left, I learned that later that night, cops had to respond to a shooting about 4 blocks away from Deanna's party. The next day is Sunday.
I need y'all to turn that music down because he's interviewing folks.
Remember those Sunday dinners that Deanna and her family planned? Well, they invite me to one.
You'll see our house full.
So we're gonna go cook some.
Yes, some cabbage. Yes, we're gonna go fry some cabbage. Now this is Chef Thomasina right here. She's the chef.
Hi, Thomasina.
I'm in Deanna's kitchen. Bright yellow cabinets, white walls. She's got jerk chicken broiling in the oven. And Thomasina, one of Deanna's sisters, heats up vegetable oil in a cast iron skillet to fry some cabbage. I don't usually like the smell of cabbage cooking, but this smells really good.
You don't remember that cabbage going on?
There's a constant cycle of people coming in and out of the kitchen. Deanna's other sisters, Shaniqua and Aisha, come in and pour Jiffy brand cornbread mix into a bowl. Deanna's stirring the lumps out of the mix when a pouty 4-year-old Amarie, who Deanna calls Mari, comes over sobbing.
My granddaughter Amarie.
Hi, Maury. Oh, I met
She's
you.
such a crybaby. She's sleepy right now, so she want me to walk around and hold her until she falls asleep. She don't understand. Today is not a good day for that.
Is she your son's daughter?
Yes, that's what I said. My only child, and he gave me a granddaughter before he left this earth. Now, how amazing is that?
Deanna picks up Mari and hugs her to her hip as she cooks.
Y'all know the kids eat first, so everything is just about just waiting on that cornbread. And that's what it is, but it's not ready yet, right? So, Mr. Trey, are you enjoying yourself so far?
Having a great time. This is
Okay.
fantastic.
I don't want you to be looking like, okay, they dragging me around, but
No, this is great.
enjoy yourself.
This is every Sunday.
Yes, it's every Sunday, though. It's every Sunday.
Love you, Miss Deanna.
Love you too. Y'all not eating? Okay. Look at all this from New York. Now look, one person bring all of this to West Virginia. They gotta love me here. They gotta love me. I'm just saying.
I've had the privilege to hang out with Deanna and her family and to spend time on her couch talking to her about Tymel and her life. She says that she hasn't gotten a lot of quiet moments like this since he died 3 years ago. She's throwing these barbecues and trying to help neighborhood kids, but she's doing this with very little support. She's lost her job, and she's in danger of losing her house.
One day I'm gonna wake up and this would not be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to deal with this. There's days I want to walk away from this house. There's days I want to fight for this house because this house represents a lot, not just the fact that my son was killed here. You know how many people come knocking on my door? How many people come here needing me, looking somewhere to rest their head, or these kids? So I feel obligated to fight, even though I don't have nothing to fight with.
Deanna is a woman who's been through one of the hardest possibilities of parenthood, the death of a child. And she's trying to make meaning out of this tragedy. When I'm around Deanna, she inhabits this strong optimism. But every now and then, I get a glimpse of fear that everything is not going to work out, that she might lose her house, that the future might be just as difficult for her granddaughter Amarie. To me, her mission to improve the lives of the young people in her neighborhood seems like a quixotic battle against entrenched racism, systematic oppression, bias against African American mothers. and violence in a community that's often cruel to itself. But she keeps on anyway, for her community and for her granddaughter, Amarie.
What parts of her remind you of Tymel?
Everything. She looked like him. She act like him. She played by herself like he did. Like, just everything. Comedian, love playing jokes, love practical jokes, and is very smart.
How do you feel about her growing up here in Charleston?
Oh, that's why I'm working hard, because I want them to, when they hear her name, for that carpet to be laid out for her. That's why I'm working hard, to make sure that his name stay alive, that we build a legacy of trust, honesty, and love, and that she knows that through all of this, she was loved from day one. I don't ever want her to, I know she's going to miss that for fatherly love and everything, but I don't want it to be something that damage her in her future. I want her to know, like, no, you was loved, your father was here, he got to see you, he got to hold you, and like, you was definitely loved, and he was loved too. I want her to carry on like how he carried on. How everybody love him, I want everybody to love her the same.
Deanna's hope is simple. It's what she keeps repeating to me and anyone else who will listen. She wants her community to love each other more. And she's serious. So serious that she recently told me that she has plans to run for city council. Deanna also wants to stay in the house where she raised Tymel. And as her granddaughter Amarie grows up, she wants to be able to sit on the front porch and know that her community's going to help protect this child. You've been listening to Us and Them. This piece was produced by me, Trey Kay, Ashley Cleek, and Mitch Hanley. It was edited by Ibby Caputo. Joni Deutsch is our digital editor. Michael Lipton and Tristan Lozow wrote and performed the Us and Them show music. Mark Lerner designed our logo. Rita Krisafi and Mariana Trofimova designed our website at usandthempodcast.com and provide us with images for the web. Our intern is Nicholas Tantillo. The marvelous people at PRX and West Virginia Public Broadcasting make Us and Them possible. So do grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the CRC Foundation, and the Daywood Foundation. This episode was produced with financial assistance from the West Virginia Humanities Council, a state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities. Us and Them was originally developed with assistance from the Mentorship Program at AIR, the Association of Independents in Radio. Thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you next time on Us and Them.
Support for this podcast comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
From PRX.